part 2 of the inimitable Gridkeeper, aka Celestial Paladin, talking to Tim Tony Stark Rifat about his bottomless fount of knowledge about Illuminism, with me butting in just to upset the apple cart, because you know me, I like causing trouble. So, we're continuing about Max Spiers, who knew his mate the Super Soldier, who was screwing this Mayo woman, and went to school with the fucktard blue, who is now going to marry Katy Perry, who's now the new chosen Queen Witch for the crown. I don't want to be controversial.
Arundel.
Yeah, it's got a nice castle.
It has got a nice castle.
I like Arundel Castle.
Yeah.
Podium's good.
Oh, in Kent.
Yeah, he took me on a school trip. I like Podium.
Yeah, I used to go there as a kid with my family. The moat around there.
Nice. We like castles.
We did.
Anyway,
We
continue.
love a castle. We love a Roy Castle.
No, you might have.
So yeah, Arundel, and there was a thing on the internet not so long ago about, was it the Baroness of Somerset? I think it was Baroness Somerset, wasn't it? Or something Somerset. And there's a website.
Was she making scrumpy?
Yeah. And there was a list of like a coded messages to members of the Illuminati.
Right.
About nodes.
What are nodes? Explain to our viewers what nodes are. Are they
When
boils on your buttocks?
No, when you have a ley line running through the ground, they cross at certain points, and you call that a node point.
Huh?
And you have a ley line that travels along the surface, and a node goes 90 degrees to the surface, so it goes straight.
So for an occultist like me,
Yeah,
a
there's
node
some
would
right
be a
angle.
Stargate to interdimensional realm.
Yes. Yeah. Better
And
way
when
to
you're
explain it.
when you're dreaming awake or asleep, it's like a spiral staircase that takes you between interdimensional universes. There are 7 of them. So normally you're blocked, but if you get a node, you can walk down the staircase, and there's a whole universe, dark energy, matter, interdimensional universe. Walk down again, another one. Walk down again, another one. Walk down again, 5, and then for the last 2. You need to be merged with a tree, or have killed someone on a tree altar, because the last 2 you can only do by merging with tree consciousness, which is Druidism. But that's an aside. Another story. Continue.
So I went up to the cathedral, and
Well, you went up in the cathedral.
after I read this thing on the website, and it talked about, there was a message about Node 9 in Luxembourg, which is not called a Notre Dame, the Notre Dame in Luxembourg.
Well, the one that burned down. Notre Dame is in Paris.
That was the one in Paris. Yeah, there's another one in Luxembourg.
Ah,
called
right.
Notre Dame. And they called it Node 9, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go up to Arundel and have a look.
What's the number of Arundel?
Don't know. It wasn't on there. They didn't have a number for it.
Because remember they follow the Fibonacci series.
Yeah, yeah. So I walked around it, and you find the 6-pointed star on one side, and the 5-pointed star. I thought, well, where does that go out? And it was right. If you look across the road, you see a wooden building in the castle grounds, and either side of it is a wooden obelisk with a golden orb on the top of each one.
Remember, the last 2 realms, 7 dark energy matter universes, the last 2, you need wood, merging with wood to achieve, so the 2 obelisks would allow you to go down the staircase to levels 6 and 7.
And
Just on the side.
when do you ever see a wooden obelisk? It's all
Never.
all stone,
Stone.
you know.
But to get to universes 6 and 7 dark energy matter realm, you need them.
And if you've got an obelisk that weighs, I think it's over 800 pounds, and also the ley lines, or the solitron, scalar wave, they come out of, so you could have one coming out of the top of the cathedral on the spire, and and it will arc over like a slinky toy, sort of going down the stairs, and it will arc over and it will go to the next obelisk, or it could go to a dome. And with a stone one, the vortex goes down so far in the ground, but it always comes back to create a double vortex and then comes out. But with a wooden one, it's just a downshift.
Yeah, to a universe of 6 or 7.
Yeah, so
it's a gateway to hell, basically.
yeah, so the two wooden obelisks have a golden.
What's in between the wooden obelisks?
A domed building.
Yeah, the dome links up with a 3 space
square with a sort of half circle.
Yeah. Remember we took 3 spaces, spheres.
Which you can see in Bases 88 on Miles's channel. When we did the walk around Brighton, you talked about that in depth, really. And there's a golden orb on the top of each of these obelisks with a golden, quite thinly pointed star on each one, and that goes into the grounds of the castle. So that probably moves the energy, whatever goes through the ley line, into the castle as well.
And links up with the sun and the 5th dimension.
Yeah, and yeah, they do these rituals, and the other places were Old Sarum was on the list in Salisbury. There's a meeting place for satanic rituals.
Is there a new Sarum?
Not in Salisbury. Bewley was on the list, and there was quite a few. There was quite a list, to be honest. Lots of names, addresses, phone numbers, number plates, and then and this was formulated by someone that lived in Lee Park, and it had happened to them. And
What happened to them?
they'd been abused.
What sort of abuse?
Sexual abuse, ritual abuse.
What,
beaten.
just kissed on the cheek or something?
No, some of the things they do. Put children in coffins. A jar of bees. Put the bees in the coffin. Shut the coffin. Trauma, etc. Horrible things. Made to be sick and then eat their vomit. And they
Any rape?
yes, yeah, obviously lots of rape.
Oh, right.
And the list I had, it names a doctor in I think it's either Ammering or Goring near Worthing, and there was the name of this doctor, and they said if they have a child that they've abused too much, obviously you can't take them to a hospital, they need a doctor, so they have this doctor on the payroll. And there was they say he gets paid, what was it? That was around £4,000 per child.
Gotcha. Did you want a copy of the document? I brought it with me.
Have you?
Yeah. Next time
we can go. It'd be a lot better if I had it with me. I'd remind me about a lot
I
of
brought one with me.
things.
I must be psychic.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to remember when I'm so tired. But so yeah, it was quite shocking, really. The first, I'd heard about all this before, but to actually read that from point of view from someone.
Right, continuing to Matt Spear and Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, so
Not interrupting, but remember, we all like A-listers, and we're interested in what the hell is Orlando Bloom doing with Super Soldier and this Max Spear guy. And
I think they were trying to find the strongest mind out of the two of them.
Sorry,
conscious mind.
Stop you there.
Yeah, go on.
Let's start the big back again.
Yeah.
They went to school together.
Yes.
And then you jump to strongest. Sorry, we don't go to school and then strongest mind. So let's.
Oh, they were put into the MKULTRA program.
What? Where?
I don't know. I don't know that much.
What school?
Quite limited on. Yeah. Yes.
You got to fill us in.
And there was one bit where.
Let's start, slowly.
Yeah, Max talked about they were brought into the headmaster's office and some strange bar of soap was brought out and they were told to take a bite.
What, Palmolive?
Take a bite from the soap, which was, according to Max, it was confusing for him because
what happened when he ate soap?
They'd been told. I don't know.
I don't know. Was it drugged?
Yes, he couldn't remember it properly.
Yeah,
memory stuff.
Yeah,
the memory
so
stuff.
yeah.
You know, so you don't remember what happened at that time.
So what you're saying that Spear and Bloom were abused and part of the MKULTRA program,
Yeah.
which was being run by pedos in their school.
I have a name.
Sorry?
I have a name. John
Duncan, yeah, I know your name.
John Scarlett.
Yeah,
Which you know the name.
who
You
became
know
the head of MI6
Head of MI6.
for Tony Blair for the war against Iraq.
Yeah.
Mr. Scarlett used to run MI6 under Tony Blair,
Right.
just by chance.
Yeah.
And you were alleging that he was a rampant paedophile,
I am.
sadist
Yes.
of the worst order.
Yes.
Gotcha. We were talking about that.
Yeah. And then the movie. Then.
Take it slowly. You're jumping. A movie. What does movie go from school?
Went to stage school.
Yeah, they went. I think he went.
They went to stage school.
Stage school.
Right.
Because he was dyslexic, so he
Yeah.
couldn't read very well.
What? Duncan is.
No, Orlando Bloom.
Oh.
So he had to go into the arts because he wasn't clever enough to do anything else.
Yeah, we all know he's a fucked up. That's obvious. Right. So he went to stage school. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But you talked about there's being some sort of
there was a part that came up from
fight
the-
or something. Was there a fight or not? Or
No, Max said there was no fight.
No
it
fight.
was just a rumour made up by someone.
Gotcha.
Apparently. And
So what Max Spear was alleging was that Bloom and him were sexually abused, altered with MKUltra, many
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
abused in every orifice, and turned into split personalities, and there was some linkage between them, the ritual done between him.
Memory transfer.
Yeah, to do with memory transfer, where they could access each other's
A
memories.
telepathic link,
Telepathic link. Yeah.
which the Russians have been developing telepathic hypnosis.
Yeah, and he said.
60% of the Russian psychic warfare program was telepathic hypnosis. If you don't believe this works, it was part of the Cold War technology. So who was hypnotising who? Was Spear hypnotising the fucktard, or was the fucktard hypnotising
cellular
Spear?
memory was placed in Orlando Bloom from Max.
So the telepathic hypnosis was coming from the super psychic
Yeah.
Spear
Yeah.
into the dummy
Into
fucktard Bloom.
Orlando.
Telepathic hypnosis. He was the receiver
Yeah.
in every way.
Yeah.
Did Spear ever have anal intercourse with Bloom?
I don't know.
Gotcha. Probably did for the transfer.
And this, if I'd have spoken to Max and we'd have spent time together, maybe we could have shared more information and I would have
Gotcha.
known a lot more. Quite disappointed.
So
I've
the-
actually met him
the-
in person, really.
The British were experimenting with telepathic hypnosis, linking one boy with another boy using MKUltra technology in the 50s, and of course sodomy and fellatio and all the other things,
Yeah.
to link them energetically.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because then, of course, you can do transference of one energy body into the receiver, and if you kill the one, the original one, you can then put like two bodies in one body to make it stronger.
Mm.
But of course, they didn't kill Max Spear, did they? Because that's what they would have had to have done if they were trying to augment the fucktard Bloom, wouldn't they? He'd have to be killed. Transference into Bloom to try and build a double body, which is the Nagwal man, the full vector man. Nagwal men are the only ones who can do the super psychic stuff, and instead of having two lobes like a normal person, they've got four. So this would then be a program to build a artificial Nagwal from a fucktard like Bloom by putting the two lobe of Spear into Bloom, but the only problem there would be via telepathic hypnosis, but the only and cellular quantum mechanical merging. But the only problem there would be it would only work if you actually eventually, once it completed, killed Spear. But of course that didn't happen, did it?
Oh, I think.
Or did it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that maybe
We'll-
later. Continue.
we'll get to
continue.
that.
Continue.
That's
I'm just
right.
explaining all
That's
the
end part.
all the secrets behind all of this stuff, so that our viewers understand that there's a whole science behind all this, which I know totally. And where the British have been trying to make artificial Nagwals, these four-lobed humans from fucktards, because they're the super soldiers that can control the Montauk energy body. Well, that's another story. Continue.
Well, to the movies?
No, we need to step by step. So, stage school, because you're losing me otherwise. I gotta take it slowly.
Went to stage school.
Yeah.
Become actors.
Why? Why would that be important to the Illuminati that fucktard Bloom became a
Observers for a movie.
Oh, powering him
Powering him.
to power.
Yeah, power.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which
the-
yeah.
Through the
Observation.
Observation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
And the characters, he said the characters he played were fractured parts of real life happenings of Max's life.
Which would be the transfer from Max Spear into Bloom to build this artificial Nagwal four-lobed super being, which is needed for all psychic phenomena.
Yeah.
If you read the Castaneda books.
Yeah.
There's only one downside: Spear would eventually have to die in this process. But they use the power of the observers for the Jungian archetypes within Spiers' mentality, put them into films which Bloom could play, so the audience could forcibly pull them out of Spear and merge them with Bloom. That's a real big plan.
It is.
So the fucktard Bloom is really important
Yeah.
to the West.
Yeah.
He could be the key to the future of the West. Their super Nagwal man. Wow, this is quite a big story.
Mm-hmm.
Continue. Films? What films? Why? Blah blah.
Wow. The movies Troy, Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven was the Christians taking, was it Jerusalem in the war against the wonderful Muslims, of which yours truly.
Pirates of the Caribbean. And Lord of the Rings.
Where he was an elf. And according
A
to
3,000-year-old elf.
according to Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings books were real and were actually aspects, real history from the past of the earth. According to reading his biography, he was actually channeling what happened in the past for Lord of the Rings. So Max Spears would have been Elf King, or an aspect of him.
And he said when the films are made, he was able to access Max's memories as partly. He said these movies were partly about Max, and the characters he played were fractured parts of real life happenings of his parallel lives.
Yeah, so it's obvious the British MI6 who used Ostrander and Schroeder to hoover up everything that was available from the Russians on their psychic warfare program, given to MI6, were trying to develop a artificial Don Juan or Nagwal Julian that could do all this super psychic stuff, and merging two males together would actually give you a Nagwal if they could carry it out.
So you have one hidden being Max, and then the observed Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, transfer from
Yeah.
Spear
Yeah.
to Bloom, and once they think it's complete, they kill Spear off.
And maintain, as Max said, maintaining the subconscious predictive programming for the general public.
Yeah.
And he said an anagram of Max Spears' name is Paris Sex M, the letter M, and he said the M is representative for 13 and means it's multiple lifetimes in a loop.
And 13, of course, is the negative spiral to destroy things. Destroy Max.
Yeah. And being like
Negative torsion field, squeeze him out.
Prince Paris in Troy, so they could transfer his memories of that lifetime into Bloom's cells and superconscious.
to produce an artificial Nagel, who would then marry the new queen of the Illuminati, working for the Crown, Prince Charles.
Yeah.
Oh, we're starting to see a picture here. Oh my goodness! Why is Katy Perry with blue?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about that ritual. He said he's written it was a nasty ritual.
What does nasty mean? Does that mean that people
Horrific.
said you're a naughty boy or you're a fucktard?
A horrific experience, I would say.
What? Watching a Orlando Bloom film?
Yeah. He didn't want to talk about it. Maybe if I'd have met him, he might have opened up to me. I could have learned that. I don't know.
He might have opened up to you.
Who knows?
Hope you brought some Vaseline.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Vaseline.
Nice link.
He says, you know.
Are you a real tiger?
Yeah. And it was the character's story is Legolas.
Legolas, yeah.
Legolas.
Legolas.
Played 3,000.
It needs a lot of these to make me legless.
3,000-year-old elvish warrior prince, and he said the same ritual was used for this film. And after so many times of stealing and using Max's memories and brutally traumatising Orlando, the project was finished.
I'd love to brutally traumatise
Well,
him.
I know you would.
I'd brutally traumatise him non-stop. Psychic warfare.
He said the project was finished as far as the memory transfer was done.
Then
the
the
Lord of the
only
Rings film.
then you need the Death Force to finish it off. Remember, Death Force seals ritual.
Yes.
So, if this is true, then Spear would have to die horribly with loads of publicity.
Yeah. And Max died in Poland. And it's quite a conspiracy about how he died.
Oh, tell me.
Um,
I'm getting excited. Death.
the basics
Us
of
black
it,
magicians, we love death.
he died in a flat in Poland, and they said there was black gun goo oozing from his everywhere, basically.
Wow.
And rumours, nothing I've substantiated at all, but just rumours of a lot of black magic, satanic ritual going on around him.
But of course, if you're transferring him
Yeah.
into Bloom to make the Super Nagel, or the Nagel,
You know, and the names, it's confusing to who was involved with that or wasn't, etc., etc. But you say the public observing, you know, if you Google it, it was in every news outlet in the West almost, you know, America and England.
But why, you know, Max Spears, how do they know, you know?
Sun,
Yeah,
and it was.
But why? Was Max Spears well known?
It was even on, no, and it was even on BBC 4.
Yeah, but why? Just some fucktard dies in Poland.
Exactly, you know.
Because they need the publicity,
They needed the publicity
to power the Death Force for the finishing of the ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the body lying on the floor and all that other.
It said, and this is in the newspaper reports, that they left his body on the floor in the flat, and the paramedics turned up, and they left. The body was left on the floor for another 24 hours. No real post-mortem, according to the newspaper results, and Max's mother had asked for a proper autopsy, and they said they needed Max's consent, which is just...
It's okay, you just grab his hand and sign it up.
Which is just, yeah, it's ludicrous, isn't it? Really, but yeah, so that, and there was a lot.
Well, Chandler, he told me the autopsy's okay.
You know, and they even said that, you know, the investigation from the Canterbury police or whatever, and the police in Poland was just a total farce. It was.
Well, which you would expect if
Yeah.
British had been trying to build their own Don Juan, Nagel man.
Mm-hmm.
So what's special about the fucktard Bloom? Why would they choose a piece of scum like that?
Jewish bloodline.
That's true. Yeah, but, you know, there are loads of fucktard Jews.
Don't know.
Gotcha.
You're going to tell me.
I'm not. I'm.
Oh, aren't you?
I'm just.
I've always wondered why Bloom. You know, was it just There was a lot of children that were experimented on in these programs.
Gotcha.
And they were the two that made it above everyone else.
So there
were
was
the
a breeding
strongest-
program.
Yeah, the strongest minds they could find to do it. But I don't
Wow.
know why they'd say that.
Then
about Orlando.
Britain's fucked.
Yeah,
If they're the strongest mind you can find, Orlando Bloom. Holy fuck.
exactly.
So all the rest died off, were killed off by the experimentation. So they're a breeding program,
Yeah, yeah.
like Agent 47,
Yeah.
and that's the IQ of Bloom.
And it's here actually. So Max said the experiments, they wanted to see if they would work without killing them or turning their minds to mush. They both survived, but he says thousands of boys ended up dead or permanently consigned to a psych ward.
But they fell with Bloom because his brain's mush.
I wonder what caused that.
All the MKULTRA stuff. And listening to KP non-stop, that'd turn anyone's brain to mush, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. So it was like the Nagel. They were looking for the strongest mind and body.
Which for their breeding program. And the two that survived,
Yeah.
they could do the transference to make their artificial nag, because they can't find a nagwal,
Yeah,
because nagwals are super rare, and you need to be able to see energy bodies to find one.
yeah.
So they decided from the Castaneda work,
He said that
they were going to build their own artificial one. These British bastards are clever. Naughty British people. Naughty.
He said the Illuminati knew who they both were in like previous lifetimes before they were even sort of born type thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he said his own words before we arrived in this body temple that we are using now.
Wow. So they were using
big plan.
incarnate. Yeah,
Big plan.
the British establishment has been doing some heavy duty occult psychic warfare.
And John Scarlett headed the experiment.
Who later became head of
We
MI6
talked about earlier.
for the Iraq War. Scarlett, Iraq War?
Yeah.
For the massive
There.
sacrifice in Babylon
Yeah.
to power their ritual.
Yeah.
So obviously Bloom
And that
is the
was-
future of the West.
And Iraq was a lot of death.
A
A
lot.
lot of death.
Mm.
Millions.
So Bloom is vitally important to the Western Britain, and is going to be used for massive psychic warfare against Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, etc.
Yeah.
So if anything happens to him, that's the end of that program. So please, Russians, Chinese, North Koreans, Venezuelans, Iranians, Cubans, and Mexican drug lord gangsters, and the rest, don't touch Bloom, because he's vital to the Illuminati conquest of the world using their Nagwal super being.
He said it all changed at the end of the filming of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, where his altars started bleeding through.
What, Bloom's?
Yeah,
So he started breaking,
yeah,
fracturing.
fracturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did they...
You can't keep him in one
Yeah,
mode at a time. It's-
trying to put the two together and it starts to break.
Starts
So
to
how
break
did they try and keep them
around.
together? What was the glue?
Miranda Kerr. MK.
Oh, MK. Ultra Miranda.
Ultra woman.
Gotcha. What did she suck
Her
his
in a
face
movie.
and try and glue him together with her
Yeah,
vaginal excretions?
Put her in a superhero movie called Ultra.
So she then became his handler and bled energy off.
Yeah, keep him in line.
No, bled energy off
Okay,
him.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you're starting to fracture
Yeah.
too much energy, you can't
Yeah.
contain it in the vessel.
yeah.
Drain energy off to
Into
make the
her.
fucktard flint. Boy, which then takes energy away, and then whoop,
Yeah.
it can hold it. Too much energy, it starts to fracture. Got to bleed it dry, bleed energy off. When males have boy children, they lose energy,
Yeah.
which then,
No, no.
yeah, which then that's why they've got children. then means that the vessel doesn't need to contain so much energy, and the fracturing stops.